Hello, I'm Brandon Martini, a commercial pilot and flight instructor.
And I'm Carson Vasquez. I'm a private pilot.
And you're listening to the Aviation Mentors podcast, sponsored by Stratus Financial.
So buckle up, because the Aviation Mentors are taking off.
Yeah, it's super exciting being here. I think it's actually really cool getting out of our normal office, or our new studio actually too, and just being out and about around everybody that loves airplanes just as much as we do. And judging by some of the people here being decked out in complete airplane gear, maybe even a little bit more than we do. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah, there's definitely some aviation geeks around here, that's for sure. And look at this beautiful Cirrus right here. It's got that turquoise color that is like my favorite. There's so many things that are going on around here that, I don't know, it's like squirrel everywhere I look. I'm like, ooh, airplane.
Yeah, Brandon and I took a little stroll before this, and we're like, let's go look around. Let's get out from the booth. We're over here at Stratus Financial booth. If you're around here, we're in the indoor hangar. It's booth space right in front of Spruce Aircraft. So all your aircraft parts, we're going to be right there. But we're out taking a stroll, and we're looking around, and we're just walking by, and we wanted to go see one school in particular, one really large one. And on the way there, Brandon said, Bose, the new Bose A30s. So we walked over there and saw the new Bose A30s. I woke up this morning and at the crack of dawn, I got an email from Bose. I got another one from Bruce in my pilot store. Everyone's talking about the brand new Bose A30s that just came out this morning. So, Brandon, what did you think about them when we went over there and saw them?
So I thought that I was really going to like them a lot because, as you know, I am not a Bose lover. I'm not actually, I like Bose. I just don't like their aviation headsets because they've got that little furry piece on the top and it gets into the gel of my hair and it bothers me. So I really like the Lightspeeds. The Lightspeed's really my type of headset, but I want to go check it out because it looks super cool. I thought that I would finally get converted. So when we go over there, they've got this new padding on the top of the headset. And I thought it was going to be like not leather, but like fake leather material that just like the Lightspeed has. And no, it is a felt material. It's definitely better than the old little fuzzy part that's horrible that I cannot stand. But it's not something that I think I'm going to go for. So it is super light. I tried it on. It felt really nice. And it's just not for me. What do you think of it, Carson?
I loved it. I know it's because I spent so much money on the Bose in the first place. And I've heard enough times, especially from Brandon, who's a Lightspeed guy, that you only like them to say you like the Bose because you spent so much money on the Bose. But it's Prime Air just taking off. That's cool.
Giant plane.
But I loved it. Like, I loved the feel. It definitely felt lighter, felt smaller. You know, the Bose feels a little bit bulky somehow, but also still small and light. I loved it. It was a comfortable headset, and I didn't love it as much because it's so hot here. All the headsets you put on are, with everyone's sweat on it. Didn't like that as much.
Yeah, it's a little brutal how hot it is out here. So if you are coming out here, wear shorts, probably some flip-flops, and a tank top, by the way, because it is hot.
Yeah, but it was cool. I really enjoyed it. I'm not going to upgrade my 2-year-old A20s to it. Didn't like it that much, but it was cool. Definitely an upgrade. I liked it overall. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got all a slew of emails this morning, too, just like you did. It was pretty incredible. They sent out a press release on day one, and boom, it blew up. So it took off, no pun intended.
Yeah, the Bose guys said that they were going to be probably sold out by the end of the first day today of Sun and Fun. So good for them. Pretty cool. Definitely the biggest thing I've seen here because every pilot won't fly the same plane, but every pilot's going to have the same headset, right?
Yeah, exactly. A bunch of people told us that they sold out online in 30 minutes this morning when it got released. And it was pretty incredible. But speaking of how hot it is, Carson, we're going to get off this A20 or A30 headset talk. And look what I just found. I found a seaplane. And it's not just any seaplane. It's a Waco on amphibs. And this thing is blue. It is beautiful. Look at this thing, Carson.
So there's always something when you see a radial engine and you just know that beautiful sound is going to be so much better than any normal Lycoming or Continental or even really cool turbine engine. When you see a radial engine and you hear that, everyone looks. Everybody looks. Even if it's flying above you, right into the sun, everyone's going to look and try and find that plane making that noise. Riverside Airport, we're super close to Corona Airport and Flabob. And both airports, as far as I know, I think have 2 people each that have a biplane, like an old radial biplane. Don't know the make and model, but I know every time I hear it, I know I'm going to look up or look around and see that yellow biplane taxiing by. And it's absolutely beautiful. So seeing this Waco on amphibs, that's pretty cool because you're going to see, that radial engine going out in the lake, in the ocean, the water, wherever you're going. It's super cool.
By the way, I know who owns that airplane that you're talking about, the yellow one. I can't think of his name right now, but yeah, at Riverside Airport. It's a beautiful plane. He's got a hangar that has like all Indian motorcycles in it too. It's pretty cool. So I got to bring you there when we go over to Riverside again. But for now, we're in Florida, hot, muggy Florida. By the way, I've been in Florida for like 3.5 out of the past 6 weeks. And until today, I told everybody that I wanted to move here, and I liked it so much in Florida. But after coming out today and just how sweaty you are when you stand outside, I'm rethinking that statement.
Yeah, I've been here for 2 out of the last 6 weeks, and definitely not as big a fan as Brandon was from the start. I got off the airplane, the terminal, and
there's some L-39s taking off behind us. If anybody can hear that sound, it is beautiful. Engines of an L-39.
That's so cool. But on to the next plane, there's some really cool ones around here. Whether you're going from the Cirrus to, like that Waco. Brandon, what else have you seen that you really liked?
I don't know. We're looking at something that's really interesting right here. I don't even know what this is. It says Junkers on the front.
This is the plane I saw at Oshkosh, and it looks really weird.
Yeah, it says it's a new production Junkers A50 Junior. And this thing looks pretty cool. I mean, it's got some like weird curves. I don't even know how to explain this. I wish I could explain it better, but it kind of reminds me of like the old school airplanes mixed with like a newer type of engine, because I think it's got
it has like a leather interior. It's like a ribbed aluminum.
Yeah, that's it. Ribbed aluminum. There you go.
Yeah, it's cool. 75 knot cruise, which is so slow. 4 gallon an hour. But it looks just like a super old classic airplane.
Yeah, and it's even got like what is it, like bicycle tires almost, or like motorcycle
they have
tires.
Spokes on them.
Yeah, I mean it looks pretty cool. I like it. And then, but the nose looks really cool. I think that's a Rotax motor in it. Even, I mean it's got to be pretty light. It's all aluminum, and it's like a 2-seater like outdoor. I don't know what you call that, but.
I don't know. It's cool. It's hard to explain all this just without actually being able to show you guys. If you haven't been to an air show, you need to go to an air show. And if you haven't gone to something like Sun and Fun, or especially something like Oshkosh, which we're already starting the air show season with Sun and Fun, really kicks it off for us. But then going on to even the bigger one, which is Oshkosh, coming up into July, we're so excited for it. And not to talk anything bad about Sun and Fun, this place is awesome. We're surrounded by aviators and everyone that loves aviation just as much as you are listening right now. But getting to out and getting to go see everything gets us so excited for Oshkosh, which is, I want to say, 10 times this size. It's massive.
It's at least 10 times the size. And anybody who hasn't gone to an air show, it's really funny because I didn't go to my first air show until I was actually a pilot. I didn't realize there were really air shows. I never went to one. My parents never brought me one. And it's not for any reason other than the fact that just we didn't know or didn't know where to go. But the last time I was here at Sun and Fun, this is my second Sun and Fun. As you guys all know, I go to Oshkosh every single year. I've gone every year since 2014. And I went to Sun and Fun, I think in 2014 or 2015. And I actually went with Austin. And it was a father-son trip to Sun and Fun. It was the first trip we ever did just by ourselves together, and it was pretty phenomenal. But taking a 3 or 4-year-old on a trip to literally across the country by yourself as a father, that was pretty challenging, I have to say. He got tired, and I was pulling him around in a cart, and now he's big enough where he'll probably have to pull me around in a cart. So it's a pretty cool memory, and I'm just thinking about kind of all the times walking down this road where I was just pulling Austin, and I remember I was all hot and sweaty just like I am now today, except for I had a 60-pound child that I had to pull around. So it's I definitely miss Austin being here, that's for sure. Unfortunately, his spring break didn't line up, but he got to go to the Grand Canyon a few days ago with his little friend Johnny and Damaris and I, so he got to have some fun. But unfortunately, it didn't involve airplanes for him this time.
And, that was making me think about it. Maddie really wanted to come with us on this, but she wasn't able to because she has to go to work. And I think it's so awesome that I'm at work here at Sun and Fun. I can't imagine a more fun time to have at work than going and watching airplanes and going and working that Stratus booth. And, something really cool about it is tomorrow night, Wednesday night, there's the air show, the night air show. And I think that is the most phenomenal thing that there is. I'm assuming it's going to be somewhat comparable to Oshkosh is maybe not to the same scale. Just you guys have to go to Oshkosh and see AirVenture. But seeing a night air show is just amazing. You're watching airplanes fly around at night with lights. At least Oshkosh, there was fireworks coming off the wings. There was fireworks from the ground. These guys were flying through them. They had colored smoke during sunset. It's just something like once in a lifetime. You have to go and see it. And if you can't go see it, go watch some videos right now. It'll get you excited for air show season.
Absolutely. I mean, the night air show, I think, is the coolest part out of any like large air shows, such as Sun and Fun or Oshkosh. The night air show is just something unparalleled. You've never seen it before. If you've been to a regular air show, there's nothing like a night air show. They normally have like a bomb go off at the end with a wall of fire. Go look at the wall of fire. Type in like air show wall of fire, and it's a pretty killer thing to see. Besides that, you said it, fireworks on the wings. I mean, that's just phenomenal to see. I mean, you would think that the airplanes would like blow up or catch on fire or something.
It seems like a big no-no. Fire and fireworks on an airplane, and then add to the danger of it being at night, which is just incredible. And I found out last time when we went to Oshkosh in July last year that people have to get pretty much certified and essentially rated. I don't know if that's the right terminology for it, but to be in air shows. So, especially to have, I think it's a separate one to go fly at night in an air show. And I'm assuming you can't just strap fireworks onto any airplane.
They do, yeah. You actually have to get waivers to be able to do some of these things. And including aerobatics and low-level aerobatics. There's those beautiful Air-39s again. They're doing just a giant inverted loop, it looks like. Wow. You know, those were affordable not too long ago. Like, you could buy one of those for like, I don't know, like 50 grand, like 8 or 9 years ago. And now they're definitely not that price anymore. They're quite a bit more expensive. Now, granted, that the one that I said was pretty cheap. It wasn't a beautiful custom piece. It was just barely flyable. But you could have still gotten one pretty inexpensively. So back to that night air show, though. Everybody has to see the night air show. We're going to be watching it tomorrow night. I'm sure we're going to record something before, after, heck, maybe even in the middle of it. I don't know yet.
Probably just us screaming, "Whoa, look at that!" Which is exactly what happened at Oshkosh.
Exactly. No one's going to know what we're seeing, but we're sure going to be excited on it. So if you guys want to hear us just screaming like little school kids, that might be the episode to listen to. But all joking aside, I mean, we're walking around the show right now, and I didn't even realize there's a warbird area we haven't been to. I thought we already walked through the whole show. It looks like we've missed like half of it.
At least half of it.
At least half of it.
We thought it was smaller than it was, but looking over here, there's a whole warbird country. And I think I absolutely love warbirds. It's just something that's hard to get into. Warbirds are, when they were being built, they were incredibly cheap. And now they're vintage. They're super cool. It's like the vintage car collection, but airplanes. Some people fly them, some people don't. Some people just keep them in a hangar, super nice and covered and waxed, so that they're in all conditions. And it's really cool seeing them. And I think, I read, just give a shout out to my dad, that his favorite plane, the Corsair, is going to be here. So we got to go make sure we take some pictures of that one. The Corsair is a beautiful plane, and there's even less and less around now. I think there's only 10 that are around and 8 flyable, or maybe double those numbers, but super low amount.
Yeah, I love the Corsair. The Corsair is a beautiful airplane as well. It's got that just classic wing shape to it. When you see one, you know what it is. It's one of those kinds of airplanes. And look at this 182. Guess what I found? Another airplane on floats. Actually, a whole bunch of airplanes on floats at the Whip Air.
Yeah, it's a 182 Boss 182 on floats, and it's completely OD green, super cool. It reminds me of a plane that I saw in Oshkosh last year. And it had these, it had like M16, like classic OD green M16s, like strapped like right under, next to the strut on them. And they were just so cool. So this thing is beautiful.
Yeah, and it's got is that an eagle on the side of it? Yeah, it does have an eagle. It says
Spirit of America.
Yeah, Spirit of America. That's pretty cool. I like this plane. And of course, it's a float plane. So what's there not to like about it? Of course.
Yeah, we've seen way too many seaplanes already. And Brandon, every time he sees one, he loves going up. He's like, "Oh yeah, I love seaplanes." And he's like, "By the way, super casually, very humble though. I have an Icon. I love it. It's my favorite toy, A5." And we have yet to see an Icon except for the one for the Flying Magazine. If you guys haven't heard of it, I'm sure you have. Flying Magazine's not sponsored, by the way, yet. Flying Magazine's giving away an Icon A5 and then $30,000 to get transition training to a single-engine seaplane.
if it costs somebody 30 grand to get transitioned to a single engine seaplane, it shouldn't be a pilot.
I'll be damned if I can't figure out a way to spend $30,000 flying seaplanes, though.
Oh, I could figure out how to do that real quick. Don't worry there. I know exactly what I'd actually spend that on.
What would you do?
I think I would go get multi-sea hours. That's all I would go do.
You'd go work for your multi-sea ATP, wouldn't
That's
you?
exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, we talked about it. I'm sure you guys have followed it. Brandon's goal is to get some sort of ATP rating this year. And I think going in this first ever ATP rating should be a multi-engine C ATP. I think that'd be awesome.
That would be pretty cool.
Hard to find.
Yeah,
Hard to find a use for it, especially, but I'm sure there's a market for it. Everyone has a market for something.
Maybe. Oh, look at this. So we're going down another aisle right now, and we're near the Piper booth, and they always throw a good party at Oshkosh. I wonder if they're going to throw one here at Sun and Fun.
Should be invited.
Yeah, we'll go ask.
Pipers over here.
I've owned enough Piper, that's for sure. But Florida Tech has a jet dragster. I don't know if it's going to be if they're actually going to use it here, but it sure does look super cool. I mean, it's like bright red. It says Zach on the side, so I'm assuming that's who's kind of piloting this race car. But it's a pretty killer little machine. Maybe not little, big, looking fast machine.
Yeah, this thing is super awesome.
Can you tell us a little about this little big jet race car here?
Jet race car. It is a jet dragster, and you're at Florida Tech's display. The jet dragster is powered by a General Electric J85, which is an engine like that you would find in an F5 fighter or a T-38 Talon. The engine runs about 3,000 pounds of thrust, and with the afterburner, it's our custom afterburner, a little over 4,000 pounds, maybe 4,200 pounds of thrust. The total weight of the car itself is fueled with the driver, and it carries about 200 pounds of fuel. Fueled with the driver is right at about 1,400 to 1,450 pounds, depending on which driver's driving that day and so on. We run it all over the world. If it wasn't here at Sun and Fun today, it would be racing at a drag strip somewhere probably in the United States, but we travel wherever we need to go. And the car is one of the things, I've been racing my whole life, and I've been jet racing for decades. But one of the things that I find the funnest about this particular program is that Larson Motorsports, my company, is based out of Florida Tech Center for Advanced Manufacturing. And Elise here.
So really what I care about, what I want to do with my education is use it to make the aerospace field more sustainable and efficient. So especially working as an intern at Larson, I got an opportunity to work with biodiesel, which I find really interesting, especially knowing what I want to work towards. My thesis is part of a bigger project that Larson Motorsport is doing, and I'm a part of phase 2 of it, where we look at parts of like an aircraft and fuel system parts and how they would react with exposure to biodiesel over a long period of time, and specifically how different primers and paints can make them last longer and not corrode as much. And we also have started slightly on phase 3 of that project, which is actually running the biodiesel in a J85 engine. So I've started setting the test stand up together with another intern.
That's awesome. Yeah, you guys sound like you're doing some pretty cool things at your company and at Florida Tech. Are you guys racing this jet car here on the runway?
No, not here today. We have raced at air shows in the past with other jet cars that we owned. This particular car is just on display this week. We get asked all the time, can we come to air shows and run? And right now, we kind of got to a point with our company where we had to decide, are we going to go to racetracks or air shows, because we didn't want to have to buy the insurance for both, right? So at air shows, the really popular jet-powered ground vehicles are usually trucks and stuff that sit up a little bit higher than this. This car is about belly button height, right? It's not very tall. So even though we could run it on the runway, unless you're the first or second person at the fence, you're not gonna. You might hear boom, 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 and hear it go by, that type of thing, and maybe see a parachute fly when it's decelerating. But the taller trucks and the taller vehicles are usually better for the air shows. If you think about a racetrack, the seating is all stadium style seating, so everybody gets a great view. But we love being here at Sun and Fun. Florida Tech has a couple of their training aircraft here in the booth with us, and Saturday we're going to have a big alumni function. So we're here to just hang out this week with you guys and have have a fun time talking about airplanes and careers in aviation and related stuff related to that. People like Elise over here that have a real solid, commitment to sustainability, and of course the university's interested in those types of things. Elise is exactly right. We are touching on phase 3 of this project, but Elise for a long time now has been taking standardized airframe parts, different types of primers, different components, fasteners, different types of anodized fittings, everything that fuel might actually touch in the airframe of an airplane. And she's seeing how those things react to different ratios of biofuels. In her particular case, this semester, she's been working on different ratios of biofuels and jet fuel. And then we've already done the engine testing, where the engine component fabrication, where we've actually 3D printed gaskets and 3D printed engine parts that would be touching the biofuel as well. And now phase 3 that we're just getting into, probably start that the third quarter of this year, probably, is actually the live engine testing. And I can tell you that we're part of one particular project where we may be burning pure hydrogen in jet engines, and that would produce a legitimate net zero carbon gas turbine. And so sustainability, right? It's the future of all this stuff. And poor Elise, when she first met me, she probably looked at me and said, "Jesus, Larson, you got the largest carbon footprint on planet Earth." But I tamed her a little bit, said, "No, we do all these sustainability projects and biofuel projects and so on." And made her like me again a little bit. But she's tough, yeah, she's tough. She's one smart cookie. And I show up at our shop and in the middle of the night sometimes, and she's in there testing her samples right on time every time. And so she's just a great example of what Florida Tech produces, and we're really proud to have her here with us today.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for taking some time, and make sure you check us out, aviationmentors.com. And we love talking with you guys, and thanks so much for this. And what kind of drew us over here? My grandfather used to drive Top Fuel sand drags. So when I was a kid, I used to get to go and see all of his sand drag races all the time. Yeah. And now he just kind of has his engine block, and he's got pieces of the of his old race car in his shop now. So it's a pretty cool thing.
You got a nitro burner in your family. That's awesome. Well, and so for us, the technology and drag racing and all forms of racing quite often cross-pollinates into aviation and vice versa, right, Don? So I'm 56 years old. I remember when I was a kid and I was reading Hot Rod Magazine, and everybody in Hot Rod Magazine always talked about this part is built with aircraft quality aluminum, or this one part is built to aerospace standards. And so we do cross between industries quite a bit. When we think we're a really great fit here at Sun and Fun, because everything that you have on this car is really aerospace standards and practices with aerospace materials from end to end.
Something loud's going by.
Somebody's hitting the loud button right now, and that's what it'll sound like if we were out there running. So
the loud button, that's awesome.
The loud button is in there somewhere. There's a big red button. The drivers always say, "I'm going to hit the loud button," So, please follow us. You can follow us on social media. If you just look up Larson Motorsports, and you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the primary forms of social media. Everything that we do, there's nothing rigged there. It's all the real deal, and you get to see Elise with biofuel packed under her fingernails at least once a week. So,
Chris. And it was great meeting both of you. And Elise, nice to meet you as well. Thank you so much for talking about the car and some of the projects you got going on. And we'll see you guys around the show.
It's our pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Thanks. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Well, that was definitely a very cool car. Very cool to talk to those two and kind of hear about what they're doing in aerospace and with different biofuels. I have a feeling that kind of the future of aviation will be biofuels.
It's something that not a lot of people talk about. Even for some of the older pilots, it's a little touchy. They're like, "Oh, don't take the lead out of my fuel." And I'm like, well, it might be time at some point, especially with how many planes and how much fuel we burn. It is a touchy subject, and there's not enough people really looking into it that can go either way. But the future is sustainability. Everyone's moving towards it, and it's a constant talk. And pretty much every type of politics is sustainability. So seeing them testing it, even in a jet engine, but moving towards airplanes, that's super cool knowing that's the future.
Wow, I see a bunch of L39s, and I'm not sure what those are, but I think they're T6s, and there's something else even higher above, and I can't see them, but this is quite the sight right now. You get to see everything. Oh, and
Formation flights are the coolest thing. It is amazing watching all these large warbirds flying all in formation, and they do it one after another. Here we saw 3 formations, like Brandon said. There's the T6s. Don't know what that one is. It's a little higher, over like 3,000 feet. And those L39s. It is so cool being at an air show and just constant airplane noises. It's something that, when we're alone and at our own airports or even just going through our daily lives, we hear an airplane. It's what makes us look up, right? So imagine being at an air show and watching everyone's head in unison just keep looking up and looking next, because we all love airplanes so much. So again, thanks for joining us today, guys. It is so awesome being here at Sun Fun. We're looking forward to the next 5 days of it. This is only day 1, and we're here until next week. So we're going to be here for a while. So keep joining us and catch us on our next episode of Aviation Mentors.
thanks, guys. Have a great one.
As always, if you want to reach out to either one of us, you can reach us at Twitter or Instagram. You can reach me at Mr. Martini Guy, or you can reach Carson at Carson_AV17. And of course, as we prefer, reach us on our email, Brandon@aviationmentors.com or Carson@aviationmentors.com.
And as a wrap up for the day, remember, we're here to guide you in your aviation journey. So fly safe and enjoy the ride.